Good day, guys. My name is Prince Precious Aweka from Working Real Estate, and today I want to quickly discuss some documents potential buyer will be needing for a property or potential seller, being it land or a house, whichever one you intend to sell or you intend to buy. Usually, in this part of the world, which is South Nigeria aspect, there are various amount of documentation that is required before you can buy or sell a land. For example, we are going to buy a land from the community. Usually it comes with one document, maximum two, which is the receipt of purchase and the community approval document, which states the size of the plot and the community and the elders who signed for it. Usually the community don't give survey or any other document apart from that. Some will have an attachment of the Oba approval to it, depending on what you want or depending on the community that you are buying from. Now, if you are buying from an individual, it's completely different because an individual is considered as a third party. He or she also bought from somebody, and that person has also gotten that same property from another person. So we're looking at a document that consists of three documents now, which is the community approval, the Oba approval, if the was given, and the deed of transfer. Most times, survey is being done by individual, not the community or a company. If you are buying from a real estate company like ours, usually comes with a survey most times. So there are some estates who don't have survey, or there are some people who don't have survey on their land. They just sell to you directly. For those who want to go into a real estate development, most times because of the cost of survey, some will tell you, I'm not having survey with this land. It's just a community approval, but I always recommend and tell clients that it's necessary you get your surveyor to come to site and take a GPS reading from that particular spot before purchase is done. So that's the number three document. Then the number four is the survey. Usually survey is being given by the government. You have to contact a surveyor or go to the ministry, tell them you want to do a survey on your land. They will recommend a surveyor to you, and you take him to that particular land you want to survey. The survey generally cuts out or marks out the land you bought from the community or an individual. Once the survey is done, it's been lodged to the Ministry of Lands and Survey, which means your land is now registered with the government. In future, you want to sell that land, you usually give the survey to them for verification purpose. And the deed of transfer or the community approval is given to your legal team to go through the authenticity of that document. So the survey usually goes with the uh, a plan or a document that comes with a box. I don't have any of my in the office at the moment. I'll show you a sample of it. And once that is done, you attach it to it. That's the number four document you need. And the number fifth document for your land is your C of O, which is also issued by the government as well. Now, C of O is like the highest authentical document or highest form of documents you could have on any land, because it simply means that who owns CFO owns the land from the ground to the sky. That particular spot is the highest form of authority or highest form of verification and documentation a landowner, a property owner can have on his documents. But not all people have this particular document attached to their property at the moment because it takes time to process. So that is for the landed property, that if you are interested in buying any land, those are the documents you ought to look at for. It doesn't also mean that because the potential seller does not have CFO or the potential seller does not have survey makes the land fake. No, it doesn't. Like I said earlier, you are buying from the community, they only give you community approval. So that alone is sufficient enough to actually buy and sell land. But I always tell clients it is important you do your due diligence and make sure that the land you are buying is properly verified from the government. So as to know if your land is under government acquired land or if it's under government de acquired land, or if the land is free from any litigation or any future problem. Now, it is necessary before you make any financial commitment to any landed property. It is good you take those documents I mentioned earlier. I will list them out in the caption below. It is good you take those documents to the ministry and verify them if they are authentic or not. For some people, we've had cases whereby the survey on their land is not registered with the Ministry of Lands and Survey, which means the land was not done properly, or the document covers it is not done properly. So issues like that also arises, whereby you have to go back and redo the survey. And if you are lucky, your land will be free from government land. If not, it will fall under government land. So usually we recommend that you go to the ministry or send your or relative or whoever you are dealing with to help you do that services as well. So for those who want to buy an existing building, one thing I've come to my notice is that most buildings in Guinea usually don't have a building plan. They just have a sketch drawn out somewhere, and that was what the engineer they contacted or they themselves built with. So, which is completely wrong, which is totally wrong. So, it's recommended you get an architect to draw your building plan for you, get it approved by the government, and you can have it. Usually, it comes in three sections, which is the structural building plan, the mechanical, and the electrical. So, this covers your total construction work from the start to finish, where the pipes are going to be laid, where the wires are going to be laid, where the windows are going to be, doors are going to be, the height and all that. Everything taken into consideration. So, which is also recommended for you to have while you are doing construction. So that's the fifth document that is required for you to purchase. Usually, the receipt is also very, very important. That comes with it. The receipt of buying is also very, very important if you are buying property. So another thing that is also recommended is most times if it's a third party transfer, that the third party does not have a receipt to give. So that way the deed and the amount comes in. So like I said, I'm going to give you guys a quick tip or a free tip while this video. I don't want to make it very bulky though. When you are buying a property as an individual, it's also different from when you are buying as a couple. For example, if you are buying between you and your wife, or both of you are coming to buy the property, don't make the mistake of just writing Mr. and Mrs. AB as the proprietor or the buyer's name. Try and tell your legal team to write it out in full. Mr. AB and your surname, and Mrs. your wife's full name and the name she carry. For instance, you can say Mr.